All right, let's call November 21st, 2025's EDC meeting to order. First item of business is approving last month's minutes from approving the September 19th meeting minutes. Any concerns, questions, updates, corrections?
Do we need to take roll, or did we?
Oh, I guess we already did. We should probably take roll officially since we did for Amy already.
Okay.
I'm Kevin Campbell, the president. Kevin McGuire is currently not here. Amy Streeter is by phone. Jenny Fowler.
Here.
Mayor Eargang.
Here.
Paul Gates. Here. Angela Linville. Sarah Lamping.
Here.
Thank you.
Amy, please don't take offense, but you're hovering up there like the great and powerful Oz over our room.
That's right. Don't look behind the curtain.
Okay. So,
Is that a hint that you want me to turn off my camera?
No.
And Paul Ketchum just arrived.
did you catch that, Amy?
Yes,
All right.
I did.
All right, thank you. All right, back to meeting minutes from September 19th. I need a motion to approve said minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries. Oh, I'm way. Okay. All right. Next item for business. Budget review.
Okay. There is nothing out of the ordinary. How's that? We've gotten revenue through October, correct? We've got the expenses. We are not spending much as far as the marketing program goes. Angela, I'm sure knows about that. That's favorable. We did have one more big program we paid in November for Langens, one of the exterior ones. So that takes that down a little bit. That's not on here because this was the end of October. But otherwise, nothing new that's outstanding or anything. You still have some discretionary projects if you want to spend that money, and that should do it. Next year, I think I already reported the revenue is going to be slightly down from this year, according to the records from the local income tax that we're supposed to get. Not much, but enough that it's not a good turn. It's going the other way a little bit. So it'll still be around the $600,000 amount that'll come in.
Do we know what's causing that?
No, other than it's based on where you live and how much the earnings and all that kind of stuff. And you can't even get the county to tell you exactly how they calculated it. So it is there. Between the two counties, that's what we're going to get, pretty close to the same amount.
Okay.
I think,
Any other questions?
Paul, was that the case where were we getting slightly more from Franklin, or was that on a different account?
I don't remember. It's between.
There was one. I thought we got slightly more from Franklin.
Yeah, I think we did. I think
Less.
Franklin was slightly up and Ripley was slightly down, but a little more down than Franklin was up. So, but it's still over 600,000, so it's about the same. And next month, I won't be here. Somebody will, yes, I will. December, I will. And we will try to put together a budget. Maybe for that meeting, it'd be a good idea to figure out like what kind of projects you're looking for the 2026. So we can put a pro forma together and you got something to start with.
Thank you, Paul.
All right. Thank you.
I'd like to add, we only have one big program exterior outstanding, and that is Concepts. They wanted to pave their gravel parking lot, but
I'm going to interject real quick. I think somebody's talking, but I cannot hear them at all in terms of taking notes.
we have one, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
We have one outstanding big grant, and it's for Concepts. They had received a grant to have their gravel parking lot paved, but due to the availability of the individual who was going to do the concrete work, they've been pretty backed up, but she said that she's hoping to get it done by the end of December.
Okay, any other budget questions, concerns, otherwise? Hearing none. Marion feasibility study?
Yep. If you could stand at the podium. Thank you.
Amy Streeter, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Paul Ketchum, Superintendent of Batesville Community School Corporation. Ms. Lamping, Mayor Irrigang, how in-depth do you want me to go? Do you do a quick history lesson? What will be the most impactful conversation I can have at this time?
I think it's best if you update the group to the best of your ability because there's been minimal conversation.
Happy to do that. So there have been some conversations with Marion University about placing either one or four of their colleges on the current, what I'll refer to as the Hillenbrand Industries / Batesville Casket headquarters. There have been multiple conversations among multiple partners in town, including Margaret Mary Health, Oldenburg Academy, Batesville Community School Corporation, City of Batesville, Batesville Casket, about potentially utilizing unused floor space in that current building. Marion University, as some of you may know, actually began in Oldenburg with the Sisters of St. Francis and then went to Indianapolis. They are now looking to expand their footprint, specifically their medical school in southeastern Indiana, or I should say somewhere else. And the reason they are is they have 162 residencies in their medical school. They have over 4,000 applicants per year. They don't have enough bandwidth in the city of Indianapolis to place their residents. They also, and I'll just say this, and I hope I don't offend anyone, they also want to be competitive with Cincinnati universities that provide Catholic education. They would like to have a satellite medical school in our community potentially. And obviously that aligns with Margaret Mary Health. There are actually 4 independent hospitals, and I struggle sometimes. I don't struggle. Perspective is I love all kids. I love Batesville kids more, right? But I need to think more regionally at this time. Shelbyville has a hospital. Rush County has a hospital. Decatur County has a hospital. There are potential residence placements for Marion University to expand their medical school. Why is that important? That's important because we'd be attracting talent to Batesville, Indiana to potentially live here, work at Margaret Mary Health, right? We potentially could have Oldenburg Academy and Batesville High School kids earn their associate's degree while in high school, fast track through articulations to get through Ivy Tech and Marion University Medical School, potentially out of medical school in their early 20s, right? That's a big cost savings to families. As we talk to Marion University, we're interested in educator pipeline. They have the CLIPS Education School. They also have an engineering school, and they also have a business school. So potentially we could have, and again, this is the genesis of the feasibility study, what would it look like, ... if Marion University had a satellite campus in Batesville, Indiana? We've got the square footage, we've got the hospital, we've got the healthcare need, we've got engineer need, we've got business need, we've got educator need, we've got the needs for Marion University to come here. The issue they face is, well, is it worth their time, right? So that's the genesis of this conversation. Can we provide a feasibility study in partnership with Marion University to say there are enough students in this area? And here's the last caveat. This is not a Marion promotion, but they do have a mission for first generation students and to lift students up out of poverty. There is a program in Indiana called the 21st Century Scholar Program. If you're not familiar with that, if you qualify, and I'm simplifying it, if you qualify for free and reduced lunch in the 8th grade, the state of Indiana will pay for your tuition to go to college. A lot of people don't know that or understand it. The issue is, and this is not a knock on higher education, room and board is not covered. The room and board sometimes exceeds the cost of tuition on most college campuses. That's still a barrier. So that if there's a college campus that students could commute to, a 4-year college campus in Batesville, Indiana, regionally, I'm going to go out and say between 45-minute drive of Batesville, there are probably upwards of 40% of students who graduate from local high schools, not Batesville High School only, that would potentially qualify for 21st Century Scholar dollars. That's a Lilly scholarship for those individuals that could attend Marion University in our community. There's a lot of other conversations I go into, but the first step, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. The feasibility study is the ask of Marion University to say, Paul, is this really feasible? And I give a lot of credit to Mayor Irrigang and our community partners, Chris Lowry, former Commissioner of Higher Education. We've all been in communications with Marion and each other, and we really want to push this forward. And this would be a really impactful first step to be able to fund this feasibility study. So, Ms. Lamping, have I said enough? Not enough? Too much?
You said enough.
Okay. Can I answer any questions?
I would like to add, Mr. Ketchum, Superintendent Ketchum started with the fact that it's been identified, the Batesville Casket Building, as the location. However, we will not, be confirming a location until we get to phase 3 of a 3-phase or 4-phase feasibility study.
So I think we probably need to say what you're asking for.
Question, Paul. Would this feasibility study be pointed at just Marion University, or would you be able to plug in another university if Marion should say, nah, we're not interested?
Amy, great question. Marion University is the only university we've had direct conversation with, but we'll affectionately call ourselves the Coalition of Willing has had additional conversations. If not Marion, then who? We have not talked to any other universities, Amy, but we have, our thought process is that we want to bring a 4-year university to Batesville. Marion's the only one we've spoken with at this time. Our specific ask, and thank you for that clarifying question. I thought you could just read my mind when I was asking for something. Phase 1 of a feasibility study is approximately $75,000. So the ask today is for the EDC to cover the cost of phase 1 of the feasibility study. Now, I say that Sarah Lamping's been instrumental in these conversations. We have not really brass tacks negotiated a different price at this time, and we will do that on behalf of any funder or funding source. But we were kind of stuck in this dilemma of, well, we don't really have a source of funding, we can't move forward. So we're here today to say, would EDC be willing to fund phase 1 of a feasibility study with Marion University at this time? Did that answer your question, ma'am?
Yeah. I thought we needed to enter that onto the notes.
For sure. Thank you.
Do we know if the local hospitals have a current residency program, or would they have to instill all of that and start that?
Mr. Campbell, I'm not sure. I do know that they do have housing for residents, so I imagine there is still a residency program. I don't know how robust it is, but to your point, Ivy Tech's an incredible partner with Batesville Schools and Oldenburg Academy, and I've spoken with Ivy Tech. They would begin articulations with Marion University because hospitals need more than doctors. They need nurses, phlebotomists, radiologists. So what happens is that potential campus, based on the feasibility study, becomes a hub of students who are going to work in the healthcare industry, not just medical school. But I'm not sure, Mr. Campbell, how many residents currently are at Margaret Mary Health.
Well, I didn't know if there was some at Rushville or Shelbyville or where else.
I think it's sporadic. And again, this is just my interpretation of conversations. I don't think there's a really intentional, robust residence program in Southeastern Indiana. I'll use the I-74 corridor.
And so if I get this right, it's not just doctors. Marion University would have programs for nurses and all those other healthcare individuals, or a lot of other healthcare individuals.
There would be an ask, and again, Mark Graver is the chancellor of our Batesville Lawrenceburg campus, to basically begin those articulations, because actually doctors are very few of the employees in the hospital are doctors. It's all the other support staff. So the answer is correct. We would ramp up those healthcare industry jobs, certifications at Ivy Tech, understanding there'd be articulations for them to literally walk across the parking lot and attend a 4-year university, potentially Marion University.
And so all the other degrees that you mentioned that Marion offers, just to clarify, are they proposing they would bring those as well?
I think that's, again, where the feasibility study really helps us clarify. If it's up to Paul Ketchum, I say bring everybody, bring them all, right? But they have some investments they need to make. I would, as an educator, I would love to provide our students in Southeastern Indiana an opportunity to earn a teaching degree in 2 years, right after high school. I'm sure the business community, Baxter International, would love for their employees to earn MBAs, right? I'm sure all the things that happen when you have a higher education institution in your community, there's the residual compound impact of all kinds of professionals. And oh, by the way, why don't you live in Batesville once you come to school here, right?
So the 4 primary areas of interest that we intend to pursue is healthcare, obviously, engineering, business, and education.
And there is plenty of square footage. And again, I don't want to get over my skis. I know there's a lot of potential square footage. And oh, by the way, there's going to be a vacant hospital in the near future where potentially those labs and square footage could be utilized, right? And this is the grand vision of Paul Ketchum, but let's be honest, there are some potential resources in our community to leverage.
And the nuts and bolts of the phase one for the request of $75,000 is to do a regional demand analysis before we would move forward, as well as a competitor scan of the regional institutions. So this would be the necessary first step in starting this project to move forward. We have a pretty aggressive timeline, fall of 2026, understanding that that works best for us. However, we will be able to tighten that up and hopefully get it
All of 2026 for what, Sarah?
to begin offering classes in Bay.
Oh, I see, okay. So when do you want to have phase one done?
We would,
I guess, yeah, how many phases, I mean, are we multiple phases of a feasibility study, or?
there are 3 phases of the feasibility study, and I would be happy to share the feasibility proposal that we received.
And I would just ask that you summarize that for the board, so they don't have to read the entirety of, to summarize it to the point of what we're getting out of
Barry, can I say something real quick before you summarize? I think what we found is we went to a feasibility study provider. We actually went to 2 of them, and they kind of throw out a blanket phases, right? They have a model they use. Full disclosure, my conversation with Marion is I don't think we need that in depth. And my ask of the feasibility study providers is, I want you to go to Marion University and ask them, what do they need? You know, I don't need to I don't need information that's not impactful to Marion University. Marion, what do you need? So before Sarah shares this, my interpretation is once we kind of start this process, we're going to compress and expedite the phases and information that's needed. I'm going to say, what do you need, Marion University, to convince you to bring your university here? Sarah, I'm sorry for interjecting.
Oh, no, I think providing that type of breakdown I would need to do, but in phase one, in written form, but in phase one, it would be demand analysis and program alignment. Project launch and stakeholder visioning would be one aspect. Regional demand analysis, another. Marion University asset mapping and competitor scan of regional institutions. So that would be what the $75,000 would cover to say if it is even feasible in our community. The next phase, which is the second phase, is the listening, learning, and informing the future, where design and administrator stakeholder surveys, conduct interviews, focus groups virtually, and have on-site sector roundtables, summarize quantitative insights, draft a report for Batesville's feedback and comments, and provide a final report of the present findings.
So we're looking at,
2 phases, one at 75,000, the second at 75,000.
so,
So are you coming back?
well, I guess
for
that's my
that, or
question. Are,
what do
I
you-
mean,
It's a great question.
we're the only funding source. We're really being asked for 150,
Yeah.
not for 75.
And
This, Sarah, if I may, that we have been some intentional conversations, and I don't want to put a Ripley. So Lilly Foundation gift money would be potentially available to us in 26. There would be under other funders to fund phase 2 if there needs to be a phase 2, right? So there would be other philanthropic or organizations that we would approach, but we'd have the data to move forward. So the ask right now, Mr. Campbell, isn't really for 150,000. We would be sincere, but there will probably be some funding moving forward that may not come from EDC.
And I've begun to approach local corporate partners and sharing this project, this idea, at the same time requesting their financial support to move forward if we choose to do this. Because I think it's critical that we have buy-in, not just from the city, but from our local corporate partners and our healthcare institutions and other entities within the region.
And from said universities.
Correct. Honda would be a great provider. They're already donating to educational programs in Decatur County. Those are the type of people we'd begin to have conversations with because they would benefit as well. So I wouldn't just be thinking about talking to Batesville-centric corporations, but regional corporations as well.
And I would also, and I don't want to put any school board members in jeopardy in this room, but there would potentially be some discussions from local schools about, this is important to us. We have access to revenue and streams as well.
And I'll just make a comment, Kevin. I mean, yes, it's a gamble. It may not work. I think the benefits to the community, if it did work, would be enormous. So to your point, I do think the other stakeholders need to share in the risk as well as a potential benefit. So
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
I
I think
agree.
it's a great idea to try to get something like this to happen. I'm not against that at all, but
I agree with that as well. I
and
see how it
as
applies
Blaine
to
may
us
tell
in the
you,
first case.
I can be, I think he's made this comment to some other people. I don't know about the mayor. He can be kind of a loose cannon. And
welcome to the club.
Who did that?
I may be that way, moving forward, but I think it's important for us to kind of kickstart this effort, if we can.
And you're saying they're looking to start classes next fall?
That's the goal, Kevin. This conversation actually started in July. Now, obviously, it's December almost now. But I don't think if you have a target, that if you don't have a target for 26, then the target always, so our target's December or fall of 26. What does that look like? Is it one class? Is it 4 classes?
Is it feasible to have a feasibility study done in time to get that ready?
Yeah, I believe so. I think there's a lot of opportunity to compress that. Again, just in Sarah and I's conversation, they give you a menu. I don't need cranberry and sweet potatoes. I just want turkey, right? Let's get the turkey done. Let's get that done. And I think that's kind of where we're at right now. But we're stuck. We're like, well, if you want turkey, it costs $75, right? So it's like, well, that's kind of where we're at right now, that pinch point.
And as we well know from your RDC things, the vendors are out there to book projects they want. So I think it's
but
entirely
also from
possible.
that, they're never usually very fast in getting anything done. So that's whether it's this year or the next year or whatever, I still think it's a good enough
Right. I'm sorry.
project for us to support to some extent.
Okay.
I do agree that we apply on phase 1, but I think phase 2, we can't be the sole funder for phase 2.
And I agree with that.
I would
Yeah. So you need a motion? It can't come from me. So
What?
if we're,
Are you taking over from him?
no. I
Yeah.
was just telling him it can't come from me.
If there's no other conversation, I will make a motion
All the
that
hard decisions, don't you?
EDC fund $75,000 to initiate this phase of the study.
I'll second the motion. Sorry, Andrea. I will second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I will also state that I don't care to get halfway pregnant with something, so, I mean,
We know.
it's, to me, this is not a $75,000 ask, just because I think if it moves to phase 2 and
For sure.
I
I
do have a question. At this point, I know Paul won't be with us after the first of the year, but is this something that we can provide funds and someone else will handle this. You know, we had the conversation the other day that we don't want to be running the whole thing. We were talking about, is this something that we can just provide a check and we have
Oh, that's,
Yeah, do you need the
The
check
school
now
system
or
or
later?
someone else to?
that's a good,
Well, from the sounds of things, they don't have the actual budget nailed to what it's going to cost us, so
I think what the mayor's trying to say is this going to be a city-driven project only, that the city is the chair of, or will someone else be chairing this project?
I'm talking about the mechanics of making payments and spending money.
we'll figure it out.
Okay.
How's that?
In other words,
Who's
do you
gonna
need the
figure it
check
out,
Now
Paul?
or later? In other words, do you need the check now or later?
We could, well, whatever. I mean, you guys have you picked a person that's going to
No.
do the feasibility?
We would not need a check at this point, and I'm looking at Sarah Lampe, and I think that the city would be the driver and pay that bill. And if it's less than $75,000, there would potentially be carryover, right? Like, so if it's $60,000 and we carry over 15,000, next project is where my mind goes. Paul Gates. I think Paul's a great first name, by the way, Paul Gates.
Thank you.
Yeah, so at this point in time, we'll be working with Thomas P. Miller and Associates, with Thomas P. Miller himself overlooking or managing the project as well.
Do you anticipate this coming out this year still, or would it be in next year, in 26, that you're actually making these payments just for budget purposes? It doesn't matter. I mean,
I'd like to see it paid this year.
okay. Well, will you have a person picked to do the feasibility, and they're going to want? Are they going to? We'll figure it out. But I'm just saying.
The
we'll put-
answer, yes.
Yes.
It will
okay.
be.
I don't think with a timing issue, Paul, they got a choice but to get this
Yeah, if it's going to be
tomorrow.
fall, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I'll put it on the list of the projects.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I hope in 3 or 4 years we look back as this is a fantastic decision for our community. So thank you. Yep. May I be excused, Mr. Campbell?
I don't see why not.
Thank you.
Wow.
Mr. Stone King's expecting breakfast on the way back since you made him get out of bed early to be here, so you owe him at least lunch at a minimum.
Yeah, I'll bring some donuts.
And it's my understanding that Mr. Stone King is here. We know that Superintendent Ketchum is moving on to the state level. And it's my understanding that Mr. Stone King will be stepping in and be leading the conversations with Marion in the school system and so forth.
Well said. He drew the short straw. No, Mr. Stone King's excited about that. He'll be a great liaison from BCSC to this group.
And Superintendent Ketchum has said that when he takes his new position, he's still going to be staying involved to some capacity.
This is my home for sure.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Amy, you've been quiet. We did not hear your vote for this, just so we can have it on record.
I voted aye. Sorry,
Okay.
having technical issues, but I'm good.
Okay, just wanted to make sure yours was recorded.
Thank you.
All right. Next, purchase of city property on Lammers Pike.
Okay. I've provided you all a little GIS map there. This is property that is owned by the city of Batesville. And as of late, I've had 2 or 3 interested prospects in this property. One is a data center, another is senior living, and another is just, I think, market rate apartments. But the problem is,
Sarah, I'm sorry, from minute standpoints, because I don't have that thing in front of me. Where is this property, the industrial park?
it is on Lammers.
Send you a picture, Amy.
It's on Lammers Park. It starts next to St. Andrews Healthcare and extends back to the Kelly property.
Amy, I think it's that property that was originally set aside for Ivy Tech, if you recall that, before the whole Ivy Tech ended up at the
Yes.
Forethought building. It's that parcel.
It's also known as
Yeah.
the Old Tech Park.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure for minutes purposes, I could say on Lammers Pike. Thank you.
And so because it's owned by the city of Batesville, we would still need to go through the normal process of posting publicly the bids that are for letting people know that it's for sale. But after the RDC meeting on Wednesday evening, the decision's been made to move that property ownership from the city of Batesville to the Redevelopment Commission. So with the intent of us getting the 2 appraisals and marketing it as an available space.
So it has to go to council.
Yeah, I think that,
It'll have to go to
approve,
council.
to move
I think the point is that the RDC recommendation to council would be that property go to the RDC.
Yes.
And the reason is the RDC has a little more flexibility with how the rules are as far as what you can be a little more specific of what you want there, things like that, versus if it's just city owned and you have to take the highest bid.
Correct.
So if it's residential, does it have to be rezoned?
It's not zoned residential. If it becomes residential, it will need to be rezoned residential.
Okay, so in other words, if the people who have the apartments that they want to put there or the other place, the senior living, it needs to be rezoned.
Correct. And this topic on the agenda was basically for your information on how we're moving forward with this.
Any other questions? Goals and objectives for next year, knowing Kevin and Amy aren't here, Amy's on the phone. I know I asked Sarah the other day about the big grant and should that be on here and things we need to get ready for next year. Do we want to wait until next month to do that, or?
We could combine it in with budget stuff that way if we wait till next month.
Okay,
If you
because
think about it, I mean, for the next month, what you want to do and come to that meeting with thoughts, that would probably be really a good idea.
yes, because we were hoping that we'd have something tighter as a result of the November strategic planning session.
We have another strategic planning session, right?
Right. It's the first week of December, the 4th of December. So out of that, that's where a lot of the information will come. But I have put on there the Batesville Improvement Grant because that has been a very successful grant for us. And we'd like to see that included as well. Angela Linville and I have been discussing, the process and what are some of the key objectives that I foresee or projects that I would like to run point on, as well as looking at other economic development corporations and seeing what some of their goals and objectives are, and reviewing the strategic plan that I had submitted to the EDC earlier this year.
So I know sometimes you hear about projects in big that might want to apply in the future. Have you heard of any? Like for the next time we do it?
Yes, I have. And I do put them on file, so I do make them aware the next time it comes around.
Yeah, I just wondered if you had any kind of,
Yeah,
if people had projects. Okay.
we do.
Well, I apologize for having you put that on the agenda then, but
No, it was a good topic to bring up.
well, I guess we'll hash that out next month.
Yeah.
Marketing update, or actually, I guess, strategic planning session, next steps, and you might as well take the floor for a minute and do your marketing too.
Primarily, hello, welcome. This is Angela Linville. I just wanted to give everybody kind of an update, particularly to talk about what we have planned for the strategy session for December the 4th, and give you a little bit of information about what I've done since our last meeting to prepare for that. What I did is I do have an outline for us so that we can have a productive session without having to go through a lot of backstory, because hopefully I have the backstory packaged up for us. So I have taken all of the discussion that we had through our strengths and weaknesses and opportunities discussion, summarized that, also pulled together the demographic data, and then also pulled together what we agreed upon as like kind of key findings or guiding principles. So For example, one of the guiding principles that I came out of our last meeting was that we would really not do a kind of what Paul's saying. We're not necessarily have to have the turkey and the stuffing. We're just going to focus on the demographic data that we know is applicable to the questions that we have at hand. So we have done that. So I have a guiding principles document, all of our data from our conversation, and then all of our demographic data, and I've created a summary for that. From that information, I will bring to the table on December 4th a recommendation for 10 potential priorities for what our comprehensive plan could look like next year. So priorities are more of a whole group a whole group, and underneath that are goals, and underneath that are action items that support the goal and the priority. Obviously, 10 is too many, but I think 10 is pretty all-encompassing of what our options are and what our top 10 priorities might be. And then it will be up to the committee to kind of go through those, cut out the ones that are not as important, and decide what our top priorities really are. And then of those top priorities, what action items we want to take. Those action items will tie directly into the marketing plan for next year. So, for example, one of the first initiatives that I have is regarding bringing in having a workforce availability for our customers, for our businesses who are saying that they have workforce issues. So from there, we might have a goal that we want to, help reduce the number of open jobs, or help reduce the lag time between a job opening and filling that job. We may have a target for what kind of jobs we want to focus on. So maybe that's our manufacturing jobs. And then from there, we would have kind of an action item. Well, some of those action items might be specifically around part of our marketing plan. So for example, we might decide that we want to do some regional marketing to encourage people to look at jobs in Batesville and find value in driving that 18 minutes and how much a better job you can get for an 18-minute drive. So that's an example. I do kind of have a marketing plan already laid out that we can modify based on which of the goals we check. So I don't have a full budget to propose for you for what our marketing budget might look like next year, but I will have it very quickly after we have that December 4th meeting and make those key decisions, because then we will know, instead of just saying we want to do outward facing marketing, we will be able to say very specifically, we want to do marketing back to my example, we want to do marketing within a 25-minute drive of Batesville that is specific to encouraging people to look at jobs in Batesville. Might be an example. Or we want to do marketing very specific to an activity or an event in Batesville that we know will bring a lot of people in. And so we want to not just do a general come to Batesville, but a very specific plan for 6 weeks leading up to an event to encourage people to come in for that specific thing. So I am excited to meet with everyone. I've kind of put together I look at this and I'm like, this is way too much for, 2 people to do or 1 person to do. But I think it encompasses all of our possibilities and all of our opportunities. So I have not dumped a lot of money into doing marketing because I don't want to spend money that is just being kind of broadly that it doesn't have a focus and doesn't have a clear intention. We are continuing to do the things that we have been doing, but developing this plan so that we have really structured goals for next year and integrating some of the things with Marion and with some of the things that Sarah wants to do into this plan has really been the priority. So I'm open to answer any questions and can about the process that I've been through, or if you're unsure about the data that's been implemented, just I'm open to questions.
Will we be able to have that information prior to the December 4th to review?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I think it would be,
That's what I was
more productive meeting for us to at least have our thinking caps on how we interpret that information.
Yep, absolutely. I can get that out anytime.
Perfect.
Any other questions for me? Did I cover everything that you were curious about?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said we're meeting December the 4th?
December the 4th, yeah. All right.
An invite did go out.
Yeah, that doesn't mean
I have it on my calendar.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
Economic Development Report and Community Development Report.
I'm not going to read my report to you. I've talked about some of the information that I've been working on, doing site visits, working with Marion, worked with the spending plan for the redevelopment commission, which was approved. And I've been getting more involved with the entrepreneurial aspects and programs that are currently happening in and around Batesville. I think this is a good segue for Clarice has information to share as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Clarice Patterson. I'm the Executive Director of Genesis Pathways to Success. And so I just wanted to take a couple minutes to come in and say thank you for your sponsorship dollars to help support one of our entrepreneurial initiatives, which was the Emerge Young Innovator Summit. We held that at the beginning of November. And the purpose behind that program is to help provide high school students with the opportunity to expand their business acumen, but really also understand the entrepreneurial resources that exist here in southeastern Indiana and help prevent the brain drain. And so we held that, the Emerge Summit at the Lawrenceburg Event Center. We had over 130 students in attendance for that program, representing 9 different school corporations from 5 different counties. And so each year that program continues to grow, and we anticipate that it will continue to grow as we've received requests from surrounding school corporations who weren't involved in the program this year to be involved in it next year. And so I just want to say thank you for helping us to support entrepreneurial endeavors, helping us grow the next generation of young leaders. They were presented with a wealth of knowledge and networking opportunities to meet those who have been successful in the entrepreneurial field and to help them understand and gain better ideas about what actually goes into starting a business. And so they were meeting with individuals who have experience in human resources, marketing, finances, legal, creativity, you name it, we had it, and students were able to learn from that opportunity. So thank you for investing in the future of entrepreneurship.
And I think I kind of walked by and showed this to you as Vanna would. In the 2025 Entrepreneurship Indiana report out that comes out annually, Genesis and RCCF were highlighted. So that's pretty amazing. Kudos to Clarice for building such a robust program that she went from just Ripley County to, 9 school corporations in 5 counties. So job well done.
Thank you, Sarah. And I should also say, too, that one of the big features of our summit this year was a Riverside chat all the students attended. And so that highlighted our local economic development directors, Sarah Lamping being one of those. And she did a very nice job of representing the city of Batesville and Ripley County and speaking to her experience and helping kids understand what the value of economic development is and how they support local small business owners. Same with Ginny Fowler as well. She was representing the Indiana Small Business Development Center. And so kids were able to learn and understand what a valuable tool and resource that is to have in our community. So thank you both ladies for being a part of that. And Blaine as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Clarice.
Any other comments, questions, concerns?
On your report, you talked about the data center, Sarah. And were they just investigating that, or?
They're looking for property that is within 1 mile of the Hoosier Energy substation. And it would be, they requested enough acreage for a 50,000 to 150,000 square foot building. That would be a 20 to 50 megawatt center. And like I said, they would need 15 to 20 acres. And that property that I shared with you represents 18. And it would bring in 20 to 30 new jobs with an average wage of 100,000. And they plan to manufacture chips for independent companies.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask where, I don't want to be stupid, but where's the Hoosier substation?
It is on Lammers Pike across
okay.
from Crum Trucking.
Oh, okay.
With that level of power need, how much will that expand the power need that Batesville already has? I'm assuming tenfold?
And that's what I'm investigating now. If we choose to engage, how will that impact the water we have available as well as the power we have available? However, my concern is that when you bring a data center into a community, it comes with a heavy ask on incentives, and that is a concern.
They built one of these in Indiana yet?
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, if they built a
Been in
lot
the
of
process of doing quite a few of them.
And they've become very contentious.
Yes.
There's got to be some information out at this point of what that's done to local energy rates, what that's done to local water sources, what that's done to other things besides just, great, we got a
I will say, I think
investment in town that,
I think the contentious ones are the bigger ones, the really big ones. And this doesn't sound like a really big one.
100,000 square foot building in Batesville's
For Batesville, but
pretty big.
in the grand scheme of data centers, I'm not sure.
That might be true.
But especially the ones that have come to Indiana that I know about, anyway. I think that there is concern there relative to the incentive ask.
They have not asked at this point in time for anything. However, speaking with the mayor, we anticipate that would come.
Yeah, I would.
Are you anticipating that with the other people who want that property?
I'm sorry?
Are you anticipating that for the other people who are interested in that property?
The common message has been is when people begin to ask me about incentives, I share with them that with the governor's changes to their tax structure and Senate Bill 1, that at this point in time, the city is somewhat apprehensive to provide any large incentives as a result of how our taxes are going to be impacted. We don't know that yet. So for any sort of large ask, it's just not there.
And I've expressed concerns because the state of Indiana already gives such massive breaks for these things.
You mean in the form of tax incentives?
I mean, in the fact of no property taxes
Yeah. Tax,
for,
right. As well as I think they have incentives on that whole equipment use tax or whatever they call it.
they're pretty, they would be pretty business property heavy, and Indiana's basically giving that away, and they're going to do away with business personal property taxes eventually, and so that's a big gift.
How many people did you say? 10? Is that what you, 20 to 30?
20 to 30.
Okay, and
20 to 30.
20 to 30, it's a data center, but they want to build chips.
Manufactured chips for independent companies.
So it sounds like it's a data center and a manufacturer.
Yeah, that's why I was like, huh. Because data centers don't normally have tons and tons of employees.
No, but they do have to have somebody there 24/7.
Yeah.
What the city's struggled through with water and that kind of stuff over the last 10 or 15 years or more, with the needs that place is going to take.
Well, I don't think that the city, and in my opinion, I don't think they fear enough about volume that they have access to. There just seems to be this understanding that aquifers provide unlimited sources of water, and aquifers dry up. So, you know, I would say today we probably don't have an issue providing water, but
And I mean, I guess there's two sides of it. Either if, and this is a lack of knowledge on my part, there's a lack of knowledge on my part stating that, okay, if, let's say Decatur County puts us in and the aquifer extends all the way into, if we're all tapping into the same aquifer, it might as well be here as opposed to somewhere else. But like I said, I don't know what the geography looks like to.
I would guess that that's part of their feasibility study as well. They have to be assessing whether there's going to be enough water, right? If that's one of their main concerns.
I don't know.
I don't.
But we would-
I don't know that
think
it
that-
is. It obviously wasn't a concern in the Boone County project because they're talking about piping water from the Wabash Aquifer in Lafayette and sending water 100 miles, down or 40 miles, down to Lebanon. So.
It would impact future projects that we could accept.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
So what would be your thought on a data center?
I don't know. I think I would have to think about it a lot more.
Yeah, somebody's going to have to explain.
I think
There's going to have
there
to
are
be
a lot of questions.
Yeah, like what's energy costs going to do? What kind of water security do we really have or not have, or concerns there that,
I think the intriguing part to me is that whole thing about the chip manufacturer. So if, if the data center is actually a smaller footprint within that chip manufacturer and it's larger, it might be, it might be great. I also think 20 employees at $100,000 is good if they actually
Make it happen.
make good on that, which, sorry, I'm a little jaded about that. Yeah.
I think Blaine.
And just off the cuff, I have had some conversations with Franklin County APC Executive Director Caitlin Sturworth and Jeff Westling as well. And I do believe Franklin County has or is prepared to put a moratorium on to pass some regulations on these data centers, because I think that Franklin County is also getting pressure. I know Rush County has gotten interest as well as Fayette County. And so I think it's an interstate corridor as well. And so I know it's on Ripley County's radar. I heard from Mark Horseman that it's also on his radar as far as something coming down the pike. And so it's probably something that's going to be at city council's feet here too, because we do regulate within our own city limits as well. So it's probably something that would be helpful for us to get educated on one way or the other. Something of interest. So.
Yeah, I think that's the key part right there. I think there's a lot of questions that we have, just because we hear things out in the world, and there would have to be a lot of information and potential commitments on their part.
if you incentivize all the benefits
Yeah,
away, now we're left
Yeah.
with just a couple jobs and some downside.
yeah, exactly.
That was just provided for some regional aspect as to
Yeah.
other areas and how they are handling it. I've not heard anything out of Decatur County, but I know they've got their own things going on with solar energy in Decatur County right now.
I believe that Decatur County has also had people who are interested in that as well, but I don't think that they're super open to it.
What's that?
Data centers.
I think that was probably the prospective spot right across from Honda. Wasn't that the spot for one?
I believe so, yeah. If my memory serves me correctly, yeah. So more information is needed if we go down.
Yeah. Amy? Still out there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right. Any other concerns, Amy, before we wrap this up?
No, I think you guys covered it.
All right. Well, having no other, or any concerns from the public? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a great day. Be safe out there.
Is
Bye,
everybody,
thank you.
is everybody available for the 19th meeting? Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry?